My name is Angie Obwaka, and I have a question for you. Are you a strong person? Are you the kind of person that people would refer to as strong, the strong one in the family, the strong one in class, the strong one in the community, the strong one in church? So many times we hear people celebrating other people, or maybe it's celebrated of you that you're such a strong person because despite the storms around you, you remain standing. Despite the difficult season you're in or difficult transition you have gone through, that you are still standing. You still have joy. You still have, what do you call it? This face of flint, and you're able to encourage other people. People imagine that you should have been taken out, but you're there being strong. And there is nothing wrong with that because we trust that our God is able to carry us through difficult times. But do you know that there is no greater glory in appearing strong when deep inside we are not actually living through that strength? Or sometimes it's even that, yes, we are strong on the outside, but we're so aware of the difficulty and the weaknesses and the places of brokenness within us. And sometimes, unfortunately, the enemy can bring shame over those places, or shame about things that we're yet still to overcome, things that we're yet still to navigate through. Today, I want to draw attention to the words of the Apostle Paul, the great Apostle Paul, who wrote majority of the New Testament, who wrote the most books of the Bible, who had so much to be able to celebrate and glory in and boast about. In 2 Corinthians chapter 12, he's talking about an experience that he had where he had this vision and he was taken to what he refers to as the third heaven, and he saw visions that God did not even allow him to speak about or to even write about. And he says that, you know what, I could boast in those things. I could make a name for myself, set up an international ministry of third heaven visions or whatever it is. But he says, you know what, despite all those things happening, he was still struggling with some things. He was still having places of weaknesses and places where he was feeling like he was not really strong. And he says that 3 times from verse 8, 2 Corinthians chapter 12 from verse 8, and it says, 3 different times I begged the Lord to take it away, this weakness now. And each time he, God, said, my grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. And so Paul says, so now I am glad to boast about my weaknesses so that the power of Christ can work through me. And that's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insult, in the hardships, in the persecutions and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Here's my encouragement to you today, or my challenge to you today. There is no need, just because the world dictates, there is no need for us to cover up the places of our weakness. There's no need for us to appear to be strong when we are actually broken or when we are actually weak. Paul gives us a really good model that in those places of our weakness, the places where we are feeling like we haven't surmounted, the places where we are feeling down and discouraged, when we are broken and when we are pushed down, when we are pressed down, we can glory in those places. Those can be places where we reach out for God's strength. We reach out for God's help and intervention, and He becomes the strength that people see, the strength that people experience through us, the strength that we experience even in the place of our weakness. And so maybe you are perceived as a strong person. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not true. Maybe the strength that people are seeing is God working in you in that place of weakness. How about you point people to that God who is giving you that strength? Or show people the behind the scenes of, no guys, actually I'm not that strong. I am actually weak in these areas. Sometimes I doubt, sometimes I'm fearful, sometimes I'm anxious. But God is the one that is supplying strength in this place of weakness. And then we can truly, truly be people that people can say, wow, I admire her, I admire him, not because he doesn't have weaknesses, not because this person is not going through things, but because God's strength is being made perfect, is working out, is holding them, is sustaining them, even in the place of weakness. So we don't have to go around being the strong one. We can be weak, but we can rely on Him whose strength is made perfect in our weakness. As we start this new month, I pray that God's strength will be made perfect in the place of your vulnerable and open weaknesses, because we're human, but God is God and He is able to supply that strength to each and every one of us. May His grace be made perfect in your weakness. God bless you.